All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakak, Wadash. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai is the name of His only begotten Son, in whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. I'd like to say double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect of Israel scattered abroad. It's going to be a quick little lesson real quick. Strength of salvation, right? Isaiah 33:6. The more you read that scripture there, the more you figure out that, there's different tentacles, there's different things that'll hit you every once in a while. Like you go through the first time and then you didn't notice that. It's like when you watch a movie and you watch it again and you'll notice different things every single time, if it's a good movie. Okay? Whenever you go through the scriptures and you read the scriptures over and over again, sometimes more than likely you'll find something. If you're seeking, you'll find something that it'll jump out again. So this is what I had found, which is obvious. It was there the whole time, but when you think about it, this is Isaiah 33:6, and it says, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times." Now we know that this wisdom and knowledge that the scriptures are speaking about here is talking about these scriptures. These scriptures are going to be the stability of our time. Stability, you go into that word stability, that means to be stable. That means something that's going to hold you up. Like a crutch, when you break your leg and you got to have a crutch, that's your stability. Okay, people are unstable when they don't have food. People are unstable when they don't have safety and security, water, resource. People are unstable when they become homeless, drug addicts, when they getting devoured by the wolves, pretty much, when they are led away captive and don't stay close to the shepherd, which is Yahweh Shai Mashiach. People are unstable then. Picture a little old sheep. She done lost her whole, her whole family, just out there with wolves surrounding her. That's a time that we're coming into. Okay, a time whenever this devil Esau Edom is going to come down with great wrath. You know what I'm saying? But in the midst of that fire, being surrounded by those wolves, if you have this stability, if you know that the Lord kills and makes alive, if you know that it's all in the Lord's hand and nothing happens without the Lord's permission, then you'll have a peace of mind that nobody else in the world can get, pretty much, man. That's why it says what it says. It says, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times." Stability. In the midst of the fire, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, knowing that the Lord is the one who kills and makes alive. Knowing that we went off and we're going through this trials and tribulation, and we're about to go through Jacob's trouble because we went off. Knowing that the Lord is the one, the scriptures say, not even a bird falls from the sky without the Lord's permission. Knowing that these things are going to bring us closer to the prophecy of our Lord coming back and gathering his elect. So when you know all these things, when you gather all these scriptures, these different precepts into your mind, your precept package, whatever kind of package you got, in the midst of the fire, you're going to bring those to remembrance. That's why it's so crucial to get this truth while you can. That's why it's so crucial to get this truth while you can. Let me veer off real quick. Let's veer off to the book of Amos, right? Let's veer off, and then we can precept that with. Let me see. Let's veer off just a second. We'll be right back. Be right back. Because one thing's for certain, when you have this wisdom and knowledge and understanding, it brings a sort of comfort. It brings a sort of comfort that you won't find anywhere else in the world. You see? This is Amos. This is Amos chapter 8 and 11. It says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord God, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord." It says, but of hearing the words of the Lord. That means that this wisdom and knowledge and this understanding is crucial. It's crucial to get it right now instead of waiting. Instead of waiting to the last minute. But it's also comforting to know that a lot of people aren't going to get it. Because like the book of 2nd Esdras chapter 9 tells us, 2nd Esdras chapter 9 and 22, is it? Let me precept that real quick. Let me precept that real quick. 2nd Esdras, I'll come right back here to this Amos, talking about that famine of the word. Let me precept this real quick. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 9 and 20. Let me see. Lock it up. 2nd Esdras chapter 9. Because a lot of people were just born in vain. And when you have that thought process, when you figure it out, when you finally figure out what the Lord is doing, and that everything is in His hand, and you don't have no control of. We don't got it, man. Obviously, we don't got it, but you don't have no control over anything, and then you just. I think there's a song in the world called "Let the Lord Drive" or something like that. Take the wheel or something like that. You basically just let the Lord take the wheel, man. Like your life and your death belongs to the Lord. Whether we live or we die, we are the Lord's. Whenever you have that in your mind, that's wisdom and that's your stability. When you know that people are going to perish, they're not going to get this truth. They're not going to understand. Most of them got demons on them. That's wisdom, man. That'll comfort your heart in these times to come. That'll comfort your heart now. It says, 2nd Esdras chapter 9 and 22, let the multitude. No, we got to go up. It says, 2nd Esdras chapter 9 and 20, it says, so I considered the world, and behold, there was peril because of the devices that were coming to it. And what are you seeing today? You're seeing all types of different devices, especially technology, phones and computers and the internet and everything. And that's the age of information, but everybody's stupid. But there's a reason. Once you know the reason and what the Lord is doing, you have comfort. The Lord gave them up to vile affections. Even going back to the book of 2nd Thessalonians chapter 2. I think it's like 15 on down. Let me make sure. I know I'm everywhere. But we're going to go back to that Amos. And we'll come back to that. Let me get this Second Thessalonians real quick. I'm going to prove everything. I don't want to make this lesson too long. I'm just going to get one more real quick. Just bear with me. Just bear with me. Bear with me. This is the book of Second Thessalonians chapter 2. And it says, Second Thessalonians chapter 2 and 11, it says, and for this cause God shall send them strong delusions, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness, man. So the Lord don't want everybody. He literally don't want everybody, man. Let me read that again. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 11. And for this cause, what cause? Going back to 10, it says, no, you can go. We can even go back. I'll go back to 7, because it's all about this. It's all about this battle between good and evil. Okay. When you have wisdom of what's really going on out there, and you know that Satan is controlling the earth, pretty much, Matthew chapter 4, whenever he took our Lord Yahushua into that high pinnacle, and he said, I'll give you all these kingdoms if you would just fall down and worship me, man. Once you figure that out, then you got comfort, man. You know that everybody you pretty much deal with is a worshiper of Satan, whether they know it or not. Which for some of us in the world, we didn't know that we was going astray. We was worshiping white man Jesus, man. Like everybody else out here, man. That's Satan worship, man. That's a different God. That's a whole different vibration. But once you come into this knowledge and you figure these things out, that Satan is running the world, and most of these people are up under his spell, then you see the news and you see all these things that are happening, and you realize that the time is coming when the Lord is actually about to come and visit this place. And he's visiting this place with earthquake and storm, and a lot of death is roaming around, man. Death angels. Okay? War is brewing. Famine is happening. People are hungry. Homelessness is picking up. The love of many is waxing cold. People killing each other. Once you notice all these things, once you have these things in your mind, that's going to be your stability, man. To know what the will of the Lord is. This is 2 Thessalonians 2 and 7. For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And that's talking about the Most High. The Most High gave Esau Edom, which is the devil the Bible speaks of, the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan. Esau Edom, the Khazarians, the Rothschilds, those that say they are Jews but are not. They own the world. They run the world, man. And the Lord let them run the world for right now. Going back to the book of Revelations. And you can go to Genesis 27, whenever he was given the sword by our forefather Jacob, or Isaac, Slakia. He's given a sword. Okay? And he's been using that sword pretty good. He's a master destroyer of things. Okay? If you think about it, we used to be able to drink out of the creeks or the lakes or whatever. We can't do that anymore. You can barely breathe, really. You don't know what real fresh air tastes like or feels like to be inside of your lungs. Like, your food is all different. It's all weird. They want you to eat lab-grown meats. All types of foods getting recalled for salmonella or this, that, and the other. Like, baby food and got rat poison in the cereal, and he destroyed everything. So the Lord is letting them do this until he be taken out of the way. It says, verse 8, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. And that's the time that prophecy's being fulfilled right now. It's the spirit of the Lord's mouth is his prophets, man. So Esau Edom is he's shaking in his he can't even really sleep right now because they see the prophets. They see the prophets, and they're getting exposed on every single side. I mean, Netanyahu just called those Palestinians. He called them Amalek. He should have never did that, man. And he got vocab Malone. he trying to justify Jacob calling Esau Lord, like the Lord looked like Esau in the book of Genesis. Like he's bugging out. Like all these Christians are bugging out. T.D. Jakes getting caught, supposedly being a homosexual. I mean, it's just like when you have all this wisdom in your head, it brings a lot of sorrow, but it brings a lot of comfort. So that's why the lesson is called "In Strength of Salvation." Going back to Isaiah chapter 33 and 6. We're going to make it back there. Don't worry about it. And it says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, Esau Edom, so-called white man, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. That's his prophets, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Because when he comes, he coming. He said he's not going to meet these people as a man. He's not going to meet us as a man anymore. He's coming as that angelic figure, man, that, hey, all power and glory. The scriptures say every knee shall bow. If you ever had a sleep paralysis dream, I tell you, you can't move or anything. That's how the Lord coming. Okay, you can be forced to bow to the ground, man, when he enter into this atmosphere. It says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, without power and signs and lying wonders. Okay, talking about Esau, Edom, the Khazars, Amalek, the Edomites, Idumea, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. Because they like white man Jesus because it's comfortable. They like all these different religions and all these different philosophies because they're comfortable. They got itching ears and they make you feel good, and Christmas and all these things that make you feel good, but they're not a part of our culture. They're not who we are. Once you realize reincarnation, that's a big thing too. You're not going to be able to realize what's going on in the scriptures if you don't understand that the Bible clearly tells you that reincarnation exists. You have to understand reincarnation, and that's another strength of salvation. That's what the Maccabees, the 7 Maccabees brothers, they knew about reincarnation. You see? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, Daniel, Ezra. The angel told him, until the seeds in you be fulfilled. I think he told that to Daniel. He might have told that to, might have been in Esdras. Seeds in you. Bear with me. I'm going to look something up real quick. It's this Second Esdras chapter 4. And this is when Daniel was questioning, not Daniel, Esdras. It's almost like they're the same spirit, Daniel and Esdras. But hey, you never know. They couldn't be because um, it says Second Esdras 4 and 36. Let's get straight to the point. And it says, and unto these things Uriel the archangel gave them answer and said, even when the number of seeds is fulfilled in you, for he have weighed the world in the balance. So the seeds that are fulfilled in you, talking to Esdras, it says, by measure has he measured the times, by number has he numbered the times, and he doeth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. So understanding that everything is in the power of the Lord, like all these prophecies are going to come to pass. Everything is going to happen. The seeds in you be fulfilled. Okay, it reminds me of another scripture. See, now you got me going into reincarnation. But it's very important. You have to know this stuff. You have to know. You have to know reincarnation. We're done with that bookmark right there. Okay, I'll stay here with this bookmark here. Then we'll get that. But let's go to, I think it's in the book. Let me see. It says, let me see. Let me see. Bear with me. This is Matthew chapter 17. And this is whenever they went up to that. It says Matthew 17 and 1. And after 6 days, Yahushua, Peter, and James, and John his brother, and bringeth them up into an high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them. And his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. And behold, there appeared unto them Moses and Elias, talking with him. Then answered Peter, and said unto Yahushua, Lord, is it good for us to be here? If thou wilt, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, and one for Moses, and one for Elias. Okay, so Peter and the disciples, they seen Moses and Elias talking with the Lord Yahushua Mashiach. Okay, and he's like, yeah, we're going to build 3 tabernacles for you guys, man. It says verse 5, Matthew 17 and 5, while he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and behold, a voice out of the cloud, which said, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased, hear ye him. So, hey, the Heavenly Father came down himself and was like, yo, check this out, you know. You better listen to my Son, okay, because he has more power than all these guys. He's over these guys, okay? And it says, and when the disciples heard it, they fell on their face and were so afraid. Okay, so they were forced to the ground pretty much, you know, like a sleep paralysis dream. Okay, and Yahushua came and touched them and said, arise and be not afraid. And when they had lifted up their eyes, they saw no man except Yahushua only. And as they came down from the mountain, Yahushua charged them, saying, tell the vision to no man until the Son of Man be risen again from the dead. Okay, so he said, don't talk about this with nobody, okay? And his disciples asked him, saying, why then say the scribes that Elias must first come? So they seen Elias. They was looking at him. And Moses in the transfiguration, pretty much like ghostly figures, man. Heavenly figures, not ghostly, but heavenly figures coming down. Everything was probably bright, and the atmosphere and everything changed. Okay, and it says, and the disciples asked him, saying, why then say the scribes that Elias must first come? And here's the point. Matthew 17:11. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Elias truly shall first come and restore all things. But I say unto you that Elias is come already, and they knew him not. See, right there, written in red letters in Matthew 17:12, the Son of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, clearly spoke about reincarnation. Let me read it again. Matthew 17:12. But I say unto you that Elias is come already, and they knew him not, but have done unto him whatsoever they listed. Likewise shall also the Son of Man suffer of them. Then the disciples understood that he spake unto them of John the Baptist. See, see, Christianity, and when you have this wisdom, knowledge, and this understanding, when you have this, that's the stability of your time. When you know that, these mysteries of the kingdom, you're ultimately going to be stable. And it's ultimately going to give you, more importantly than everything, the fear of the Lord. The fear of the Lord, man. That's going to be the stability of your times. Okay, so going back here in the book of 2nd Esdras chapter 9 and 22, and it says, let the multitude perish then which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept in my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect. Okay, so let the multitude perish then which was born in vain. Once you figure that out, once you figure that a lot of people were just born in vain, and the Lord said it. He said it. I didn't say it. The Lord said it. Once you figure that a bunch of people were born in vain and born just to die, and that you're just a pilgrim on this side anyway, and death is nothing but going back to the Heavenly Father, that's strength of salvation. You have the Heavenly Father, his angels. He sends his angels out to protect you. That's strength of salvation, knowing that Psalms, the Psalms say, the angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him, right? Once you know these things, man, you really don't have fear of anything, man. That's your strength of salvation, man. Okay? Psalms 34:7, the angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. Okay, so once you're going through trouble, we come into this time of Jacob's trouble, in which FEMA troops and there's going to be concentration camps, and they're going to be forcing to re-educate you, and they want to come down with great wrath on the people, because we have the word of the Lord, and they don't want nothing to do with the Lord. They want to cast the Lord away from us, like Psalms 2 says, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. Okay, they don't want us to make mention of the Lord, because Satan's running this world, and he wants everybody to be man with man and woman with woman, and it's ultimately the Heavenly Father doing it on purpose. Going back to that 2nd Thessalonians chapter 2 that we was reading, with all deceivableness in them that believe not the truth. Okay, they don't believe in the Most High nor His Son. And the Lord wanted it to be that way for a reason, so he can kill him. Once you have that kind of understanding, then you're ultimately going to be stable. So going back to Isaiah 33:6, and it says, "In wisdom and knowledge," all these wisdom and knowledge stored up in your cranium. That's why you got to get it right now. It says, "In wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure." Man. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Okay? And you got to look in there. It says, "And strength of salvation, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability," meaning the crutch. Because there's going to be an insurrection against those that fear the Lord, man. It says, "In wisdom and knowledge," basically fear. Once all these things come into your mind, you should automatically fear the Lord, man, and want to do what's right. If you're in the right mind, you want to do what's right. You want to get on those chariots, man, because you understand, once you have that wisdom and knowledge, you understand the only way out of here is up. The only way you can get out of this, you can't move to a different country. You can't try to run. You can't go up under a bunker or anything. The only way you're going to get out is if you are the elect, man. The only way you going to get out of the coming impending danger is if you of the elect. And the Lord going to beam you up. That's why the scriptures tell you, get this knowledge where you can. Going back to Amos chapter 8 and 11, it says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing of the words of the Lord. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from north even to the east, and they shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it." Why would they do that? They're going to be in a panicking situation. They're going to be frantic, trying to figure out what's going on. Why? Why are they going to be like that? Because they knew something was going on the whole time. They kept walking past us on the highways and hedges. Walking past us, just acting like they didn't see us. Then they go home and look at the news and be like, "Damn, something's going on out there." And we was trying to tell you. But it's all the Lord's will. And that's going to be the stability of your time, to know what the will of the Lord is, man. You see? Verse 13, "In that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst." You see? They're going to faint for thirst, man. Not only real water, because we're coming to a famine also of bread and food. I mean, they want you to eat bugs, man. The only way you're going to be able to eat is if you get that MOTB, that Revelation 13. That they're going to force that on you, man, through food. Through putting you through all types of perplexity and distress. You know, crashing the money and all these things. And, you know, people might go back to bartering. People are going to be eating each other, man. Okay? It says, "In that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst." That thirst. This living waters, man. This word. They're really going to seek after the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushua and His Son in that day. They're going to want this word. This is that water that you can continue to drink out of. This is that food, that table, that furnished table that you can continue to come and eat. And, you know, all you can eat, you know, day and night, night and day. This is the wisdom and knowledge that we have. The stability of our time. So with that, man, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Hopefully this message was edifying. Shalom.